Have you ever wondered if you can eat the Qurbani meat if you didn't slaughter the animal yourself? Maybe you're living far from your homeland, or you simply couldn't perform the slaughter, and now you're feeling uncertain, your heart torn between devotion and doubt. Let's dive deep into this question together and find peace in the answers our faith gives us, grounded in the timeless wisdom of the Quran and the noble teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, let's remember that the act of Qurbani, or Adha, is one of the greatest symbols of devotion in Islam. It revives the legacy of Prophet Ibrahim, who was willing to sacrifice his beloved son for Allah's sake. It's not about the act of slaughter alone. It's about submission, sincerity, and the remembrance of Allah. Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Al-Hajj, verse 37, "It is neither their meat nor their blood that reaches Allah, but it is your piety that reaches Him." Subhanallah, what a powerful reminder that our sincerity is what matters most. So if you're unable to slaughter the animal yourself, don't be disheartened, because the scholars of Islam have explained that the Qurbani sacrifice is valid as long as it is done in your name, with your intention, and by someone who meets the Islamic conditions of slaughter. In fact, this practice was well known among the Sahaba, who would sometimes entrust others to perform the slaughter on their behalf. Imam al-Bukhari narrated in his Sahih that the Prophet used to slaughter 2 rams for Qurbani, and he would also slaughter on behalf of his family. He also allowed the companions to do so. And there's an amazing incident in the life of the Prophet. When he performed Hajj, he sacrificed 63 camels with his own hand and then entrusted Sayyidina Ali to slaughter the rest on his behalf. Imagine that the Prophet himself allowed others to slaughter on his behalf, showing us that what matters most is the intention and that the meat comes from an animal slaughtered properly in the name of Allah. Now let's think about that for a moment. If our beloved Prophet could entrust someone else, then surely there's no harm in accepting the Qurbani meat even if you didn't perform the slaughter yourself, as long as it's done correctly and with the right intention. The scholars, including those of the 4 major schools of thought, Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali, have explained that the slaughter itself is not an obligation upon the one offering the sacrifice. What's obligatory is ensuring the sacrifice is done according to the Sharia and in your name. This is a mercy from Allah and a way to make it easy for the Ummah, especially those who cannot be present at the slaughter due to travel or other reasons. So, if you live far away and you send money to a trusted person or an organization to perform your Qurbani, it is fully valid, and yes, you can absolutely eat the meat. It is halal and blessed, inshallah. But let's pause for a moment and reflect. What's the real purpose behind the Qurbani? It's a chance to remember the ultimate sacrifice of Ibrahim, to revive the sunnah of the Prophet, and to share the blessings of meat with family, friends, and the poor. The Prophet said in a beautiful hadith narrated by At-Tirmidhi, "The best of deeds on the day of Eid al-Adha is the shedding of blood." Subhanallah, it's a powerful act of devotion, but it's also about sharing, compassion, and building bonds in our communities. That's why the Prophet encouraged sharing the meat, giving a portion to the needy, and enjoying it with our loved ones, regardless of whether you did the slaughter yourself or someone did it on your behalf. Allah is Al-Kareem, the most generous, and He rewards based on the sincerity of your heart, not the physical act of slaughtering. So, my dear brothers and sisters, let this knowledge fill your heart with ease and gratitude, because the mercy of Allah is vast and the doors of His acceptance are wide open. In conclusion, yes, you can eat the Qurbani meat even if you didn't slaughter the animal yourself, as long as the sacrifice was done properly and with your intention. Let's honor this blessed act by renewing our intentions, sharing the blessings with those around us, and striving to embody the spirit of selflessness and faith that Qurbani represents. May Allah accept our sacrifices and grant us the ability to follow the path of the prophets and the righteous. Ameen. If this message has touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because knowledge is light and sharing it spreads the light further. Until next time, stay blessed, stay inspired, and keep the spirit of Qurbani alive in your hearts. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.